So we create a variable, and this is going to be called user underscore name, and this is going to be the prompt that actually prompts the user to enter their name. So we use the JavaScript prompt function, and we type in please enter your name. So now once we enter our page, this will prompt the user to enter a name. So let's refresh. So we've got please enter your name. If I type in Alex, now that's then stored Alex inside this username variable. So now Alex is equal to username is equal to Alex. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to go ahead and actually send this username to users.php to be able to put into the database. But we're not going to do that just yet, so I'm just going to put a comment in here, send username to users.php. And we also have an action as well. So the action will be, let me think, what did I call it before? I think I called it user joined, I think, yeah. So we'll just say user underscore joined or joined. So the action to send to users.php, we're sending two variables. The first variable is username, and the second variable is action. And based on the action, either joined or left, or you know, like list or something, I think we'll call the action, it will perform a specific action. So now that we have established sending the actual variable, we need to go ahead and set an interval that will retrieve a list of values. So we need to set an interval, and inside here we run a function. Now at the end of this we give a second parameter, and this is the amount of milliseconds. So that's 500, which is half a second. You can choose a second, it doesn't really matter. That brings me on to another point of this tutorial. We are going to be sending, in this case, a lot of queries per second. We're going to be sending 2 database queries per second, or MySQL queries per second, and this can, you know, slow down or overload. It wouldn't really overload because we're just selecting, but it is a sort of like unnecessary amount of queries to be performing. So bear in mind that this method, if you're performing a lot of queries, will send too many requests to a database, and it can be inefficient. So here what we want to do is get list of users, and the action we are going to call list. Oh, sorry, list, not left, list. So every 500 milliseconds we're sending an HTTP request to users.php, and the action is going to be list, and that will just retrieve the list of users. So quite simple. The last thing we want to do is we want to handle when the user actually leaves the page, so either close the window or navigates away. So we use window.unload, and inside here we then create our function outline. And what we want to do on window unload is remove user name, and that's by sending that to users.php, and then the action will be left, i.e. not left as in left and right, it will be left as in the user has left. So from users.php we can start writing this out now, because we've outlined what we want to do, which obviously doesn't work yet. When the user joins, they enter their username, and it sends this to users.php and puts it into the database. Every 500 milliseconds it retrieves a list of these values in the database, and when we unload the window we remove the user from the database. So quite a simple outline in jQuery there of exactly what we're doing. Let's just go ahead and connect to our database, and then we'll go ahead and look at the database structure. It's extremely simple, but we'll take a look at it anyway. So we're connecting to a MySQL server. For me this is localhost root, and I don't have a password set. We're also then selecting a particular database, and this database is jQuery. So let's go ahead and take a look at the jQuery database. So over to phpMyAdmin we have, let's just browse, and let's just delete that and look at the structure. So we've only got one field in here. I haven't set a primary key. Obviously you would always set a primary key in a database, usually auto incrementing, but we've got a field called username, and that's length of 55. So essentially all I've done is created a database called jQuery, and I've got a table called users. There's another table in here called places, but you can just ignore that for now. We're going to be focusing on the users table. So now that we've taken a look at the directory structure, we'll know how to write our queries, so we can go ahead and start to write users.php out. I'll go ahead and close db.php because we no longer need it. In fact, let me just check that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so inside users.php, the first thing we want to do is require in db.php, so we have database access. We then want to go ahead and outline the functions that we're going to be using. So the first function is user underscore join. Then we've got user underscore left, I think, yeah, or joined. And then lastly we have user underscore list, which will list users. Now user join takes a username, so that's user underscore name. User left takes a one parameter, again username, and user list doesn't take any parameters because obviously we're just returning a list of the values.